Hello and welcome everybody to Friday's live stream. My name is Wasim from Breakout Solutions and Decrypting Crypto. And as always, we have a jam-packed show for you guys every single time that we are on. There's a lot of things happening in the crypto market right now. There's a lot of amazing news coming out. There's a lot of changes happening around the world. If you're not up to date with what's going on, you've got to really understand where money is going in the future of money. So I'm going to start off with a plug, reminding you guys to register for our Future of Money event happening in less than 2 weeks, actually literally about 13 days. So in 13 days on the 3rd of August, so not next Thursday, the Thursday after, at 7 p.m. is Australian Eastern Standard Time. Please make sure you join us. You will see the link down the bottom rolling across the screen. Breakoutnow.co/future of money. We would love to see you guys there. We already have, I think, about 80 or 90 people registered. It's going to be a big event. People start to understand, start to see what's happening with the banks, what's happening around the world. I hope I don't go on a rant today, but I've got some news that's really, really triggered me, and I'm going to share with you guys what's happening with some of the banks here in Australia. So you need to really be looking at what's happening and understanding what's happening in the world so that you can protect yourself as well as your wealth. Without any further ado, let's get straight into this live stream and the latest news. And I'm going to share my screen. First up, as you guys would have seen from the title of today's video, a $1 million Bitcoin if this presidential candidate backs USD with Bitcoin. So the US presidential candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr., unveils plans to back US dollar with Bitcoin. This was big news on Twitter and people were going crazy over it. He came out and he said that if he becomes president, some of the things that he will deliver in his package will be to start backing the US dollar with Bitcoin, with gold, silver, and a few, what did he say? A few other, platinum as well as Bitcoin. So we'll get into that in a second. US presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., has unveiled 2 new reforms for Bitcoin if he is elected president. He plans to back the US dollar with cryptocurrency and eliminate capital gains tax on the conversion of Bitcoin to US dollars. RFK stressed that his administration's mission is to make America the global hub of cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin. This is big news, guys, because as you guys know, the current president of the United States has actually initiated Choke Point 2.0, which has been running all year, and this is why we've had the collapse of the banks in America. Any banks that are crypto-friendly or working with crypto exchanges getting harder and harder to onboard your cash to exchanges and then exchange it and then sell it for Bitcoin. We're starting to see this here in Australia right now. It started in America, and we follow America because we're just another state of America. So that's without getting too much into my rant. However, if Kennedy does get elected as president, he says he says that he wants to back by Bitcoin. So let's see what he actually says. He goes, I want to talk to you today about 2 additional reforms that we've given a lot of thought and we're going to be part of our package, Kennedy said on Tuesday. One of the reforms is to back the US dollar with Bitcoin, he added. He detailed the Kennedy administration will be backing the US dollar with real finite assets such as gold, silver, platinum, and Bitcoin, which is the world's hardest liquid asset, to strengthen the US dollar and guarantee it continues success as the world reserve currency. So obviously they're starting to understand that the US dollar, the de-dollarization, the weaponization of the US dollar against other countries and sanctioning countries and starving millions and millions of people is not working, and people are saying we've had enough. This is why we've got the rise of the BRICS. They're coming in and they've been talking about their own gold-backed currency. I watched a video about this today and how what it can actually do to the greenback if that does happen. He has come out and said, well, I will issue, this will include US Treasury bonds, notes, bills, bonds, notes, and bonds. My plan will be to start very, very small, perhaps 1% of issued T-bills would be backed by hard currency, by gold, silver, platinum, and Bitcoin. And then depending on the outcome, we would increase that annually. He described What this will do, ironically, he says, we will be able to use Bitcoin to help save the US dollar. He also goes on to says that there will be like Singapore, Germany, Switzerland, Puerto Rico, and Portugal. The Kennedy administration will exempt the conversion of Bitcoin to US dollars from capital gains tax. Kennedy explains that the benefits of the policy include facilitating innovation and investment, ensuring citizens' privacy, and incentivizing businesses to grow their business and take jobs in the United States rather than Singapore, Switzerland, Germany, and Portugal. So, look, this is big news. However, my personal opinion is he basically stated they're going to start with 1% and then try to scale it up. Now, you've got to remember, US debt is over $32 trillion right now. By the end of this year, the US interest-only repayments are going to be $1 trillion. That's a lot of money. If you don't know how much $1 trillion is, you need to get on and watch, get on and look at Visual Capitalist, I think it is, and they've got a picture of what $1 trillion looks like compared to the White House. It's that much money. People don't realize because the numbers thrown around these days as if it's nothing. So I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know how he's going to achieve it, but obviously they're starting to see what a country like El Salvador has been able to do. And we're going to talk about what El Salvador has achieved so far in the past 6 months or so. Moving on, we have more great news for Bitcoin and the Bitcoin spot ETF, where SEC accepts Valkyrie's Bitcoin ETF proposal for official review. The financial services firm has adopted BRRR, which is as the ticker for the ETF, the second application after BlackRock to be accepted by the regulator. So as you guys know, they've been trying, for years and years, people have been trying to get a Bitcoin spot ETF. Not many people coming in, not many none have been approved. Actually, they've all been rejected. But what we saw in last month in June, when BlackRock applied for Bitcoin ETF, which is one of the reasons why we've had such a big rally for Bitcoin over the past 4 weeks, is now we start to see a plethora of other asset managers coming in to apply for a Bitcoin ETF, and Valkyrie was the second one. Last week, we spoke about BlackRock being accepted for review. Now, this doesn't mean that a Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved, but it is a step forward. I've spoken about BlackRock has had some like 500 something to 1 ETFs approved and 1 rejected in their history. So they know what they're doing. They're probably, chances are they will get it. I think Gary Gensler, which I want to show you guys, he's still trying to lobby against Bitcoin, even though they lost the case against XRP. But he's still trying to lobby for that. We'll get to that in a second. But if this does get approved, the price of Bitcoin will surge. We'll have an amazing, huge bull run over the next 12 to 18 to 24 months. Mark my words, and we'll remember this in the next 24 months of what Bitcoin did. So right now, if this happens, all these asset managers will start flooding it. If you know history, you'll know that the gold market cap was under $1 trillion before BlackRock brought out the gold ETF, and now the gold market cap is $12 trillion. So big money coming into Bitcoin, which is going to mean a big increase in Bitcoin. Exciting for those of us that are holding and accumulating as much as we can right now. I hope you're doing that, because for me, Bitcoin is going to be what's going to happen next 12 to 24 months is going to be huge. All right, now another feel-good story. Well, not really a feel-good story, this one, but this story actually shows the power of cryptocurrency. So Myanmar's shadow government backs launch of crypto-based bank. So the Spring Development Bank in Myanmar, first financial institution to run entirely on crypto and blockchain. Now, this is a bit of a controversial one because and shows the freedom that cryptocurrencies has. And this is the prime example. So the history of Myanmar there, back in 2021, there was a military coup that seized the country and now is running the country. And anybody who goes against the State Administrative Council, which is a military junta, they get publicly humiliated and punished. So now the shadow government, who's been overtaken, has actually come in and they're launching a crypto-only bank. And the reason for that is because right now, if you need to transfer any money into Myanmar, there's up to 30% fees to get the money in because they're being taken by the military. So now they're launching this as of tomorrow, or probably the day after for us here in Australia. But they're launching this on the 22nd of July. It's going to be launched on the Polygon network, and it's going to allow people to use this privately without the military being able to catch them. So what they're actually doing, because the military is, if they even find an app on your phone that goes against the military, you get humiliated and punished in public. They're doing this as a web only. The actual people behind it have actually started to stay anonymous. And what they're also going to be doing is just web only. People be able to transact on there, send money and transfer money across, and have they're going to have a number of stable coins that they're going to be running. So these are going to be something like the Myanmar Kyat, the Thai baht, the Singapore dollar, and the US dollar. Users can plug these assets into the bank's currency swap feature, which is built on Uniswap version 3, which will allow for the exchange of stable coins. So the residents who show support for NUG which could be something as simple as having the wrong app on their phone, are routinely made example of through public displays of violence and imprisonments. As such, the bank's user interface has been designed as a web-only platform. The bank's interface will look and feel like an application, but we encourage everyone to access it using their incognito window so it doesn't store any browser history. So the reason why I say this actually proves the freedom that cryptocurrency shows is you've got a country here with two warring parties. So you've got the military is taking over the country, then you've got the shadow government under it, but they're trying to get control back. The military has been quite abusive to the people, and they're killing a lot of people. If you know what's happening over there, if you don't, look it up. And now this NUG, which is the shadow government, is now launching a crypto-only bank because they know that the military can't control it and they can't stop it. This is the true power of cryptocurrencies, and this is why we keep telling people, if you want to protect your wealth from prying eyes and have nobody restrict you from your wealth or confiscate your wealth, and I've got a series of social media posts coming out soon around what's happening with the banks. So I'll be going to be writing this up over the weekend, and I'll be posting it next week. It's crazy. Here in Australia, the banks are on a rampage right now. Wherever you go, whoever you speak to, they're getting rid of cash. They're getting rid of ATMs. They're locking people's accounts. They're blocking people out of their own accounts. It's crazy. This is all ushering in the CBDCs and the social credit system that we've been speaking about. Again, if you want to learn about how to protect yourself, Future of Money is where you want to go. Oops, I just realized I've got the wrong banner on here. Let me just put the right banner. So the right banner now is breakoutnow.co, Future of Money. Make sure you go to that link and you register for that, please, because we would love to see you. Have almost 90 people already registered, and seats are limited. We do have a limited amount of seats on this webinar. It's not unlimited, so please get in now and invite your friends, because if you use money, you need to understand what's happening here. Alrighty, let's we've got some comments here. Let's have a look. Love you, Wasim. Thank you. I have no idea who that is, man. I'm going to assume it's Denny. Denny, bro, I love you too, man. Thank you very much for the love. Appreciate it every time you're on here. You're watching us every single time. Thank you, my man. All right, let me remove that comment off the screen, and let's look at what's happening over with the market update. Let's have a look what's happening with crypto bubbles. All right, so over the past week, we start to see a bit of a pullback. We start to see this is so bloody slow, so ridiculous. Uniswap, there's a few things that are actually on the rise, but there's a lot of things that have actually started to pull back. So that's normal in the crypto market. As you guys know, things go up, things go down, things are volatile, but the future is looking very, very promising right now. Bitcoin is just under 30,000 again, trading at $29,829 USD, with still a very, very high dominance of 47.55. The Bitcoin dominance has been unshakable recently, which is great. You want to see that because Bitcoin is hard sound money. Ethereum 1892, BNB 243, XRP is also had a bit of a retraction for 78 cents. Although you got to remember, a couple of weeks ago it was trading like 20 cents or something. So a lot of great things happening in the crypto market over the past few weeks. The crypto fear and greed index, we are starting to go down to the neutral zone right now. So people are starting to get a little bit worried. We've been in greed for a little while now, for about a month or so. So we've had these pullbacks and people are starting to get worried. The market is still shaky. We don't know what's going to happen, especially with all the crazy stuff that the banks are doing. Let's have a look at the Twitter highlights. Yes, sir, it's me at 2 a.m. Denny, I knew it was you, bro. Sorry, man. Because for some reason, it doesn't bring up the username. It just tells me Facebook user. It's crazy. But yeah, bro, thank you. 2 a.m. in the morning, you're watching this live, bro. You're a legend. You are an absolute legend, my man. All right, let's go and have a look at the Twitter highlights. What do we have here? First up, we have Mr. Carl B. Menger. Breaking Bitcoin balances on exchanges just reached a 5-year low. Barely any Bitcoin for sale, and mainstream not even knocking on the door yet. Wondering where all those Bitcoins coming from when interest picks up. So this is a chart by Glassnode, which I'll open up for you guys. Hopefully I'll open up on your end. And what he's showing is the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges. Now, why is the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges important for us to know? Is because the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges tells us how much Bitcoin is available for sale. Because the only real place, or the main place that people buy Bitcoin from, there are other ways you can buy from a miner, you can buy P2P and P2P and whatnot. But generally, most people buy Bitcoin through an exchange like Binance, like Crypto.com, Coinbase, BitGet, all these exchanges, right? The amount of Bitcoin on these exchanges is at a 5-year low, which means there's not a lot of Bitcoin, which means as people come in to start buying, the price is going to shoot up because all the Bitcoin hodlers are hodling on for dear life. And this is why people are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges, putting them in their own wallets because they don't want to sell them. This is long-term savings for them, and hodling onto it until Bitcoin reaches, some people have got targets of $100,000, $1 million, or whatever it is. Wherever you believe Bitcoin is going to be, then this is going to, this is why people are holding it. So as we start coming closer and closer to the bull market in about April next year, we're going to see more and more people coming in wanting to buy Bitcoin, but there isn't much Bitcoin. And after the halving, even miners are going to have less Bitcoin to sell. So right now, there's about 900 Bitcoin a day that miners are being able to produce, and they can sell that. Now, after April next year, whatever the date is going to be, and I don't know exactly the date, there will only be 450 Bitcoin a day that miners can sell. Now, if you know anything about simple economics, you'll know as you reduce the supply, regardless of the demand going up or not, the price is going to shoot up. So even if we don't get more demand, the price is going to shoot up. But technically, what we know, the retail market will come in after the halving as more and more demand comes in. Bitcoin will be all over the news again. Bitcoin surging, blah blah blah. The retailers will start FOMOing in, while us OGs who've been accumulating right now will start being skating out and taking out profit. So now is the time to be accumulating. As we've always said, accumulate and dollar cost average in, because this opportunity is not going to come for another 4 years, guys. This opportunity that we're talking about right now, the next time this opportunity is going to come, and we may never ever see $30,000 Bitcoin again, by the way, because historically Bitcoin goes from down to the previous all-time high. So we may never ever see another $30,000 Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin reaches $1 million, people are going to say, man, I wish I bought it at $30,000. And they're going to be saying, hey, you're lucky you bought a $30,000. It's got nothing to do with luck and everything to do with tenacity and knowledge and doing the right thing by yourself. Now, I'm going to try not to go on a rant here, but Australia's second national bank pulls out of cash. They didn't ask people. They simply told them cash was over. So exclusive, Commonwealth Bank's scraps cash withdrawals and deposits at many branches across Australia. I'm doing a whole series on the banks next week, so watch out. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. sorry, not Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter, but I won't be putting it on Twitter. Follow me on LinkedIn, where I'm going to start talking about this. I'm doing a whole series, probably a 4 or 5 part series for next week to really get people to understand what's happening with the banking system right now. But you can see that Commonwealth Bank is starting to withdraw and stop cash deposits and cash withdrawals. Crazy what's happening out there. Next up, we have Mr. Gary Gensler. Even though they lost the argument or they lost the trial last week and being told that tokens on their own are not securities, he's still trying to get more and more money from law agencies because, according to him, they must expand to protect investors against crypto industry rife with non-compliance. So he's still going for this. He's still trying to get more money. He's still trying to go after Bitcoin. This guy needs to be fired. He needs to go. We need to get rid of him, and we need to focus back and get someone in who is pro investors and really protecting investors. This guy is not protecting investors. He's only in it for himself. All right, and last but not least, we have adoption highlights. Okay, and El Salvador is back in the news, guys, and you all know how much I love El Salvador. El Salvador's bonds surged 62% amid Bitcoin's ETF-driven rally. El Salvador's bonds due in 2027 have gained 62% in the last 6 months as the country finds itself on a better financial footing. Next up, we've got we've got the old saying that in the market that ratings of traditional agencies are lagging indicators. Bitcoin holders El Salvador's recent experience suggests the same. So basically, El Salvador's bonds were downgraded to junk bonds because El Salvador took Bitcoin as legal tender. So a lot of the Western countries and the IMF weren't happy for that because they can't control Bitcoin, and they scrapped and reduced El Salvador's credit rating, even though it was already bad. But because of what's happening with Bitcoin and because of El Salvador's working hard, people with the El Salvador population, El Salvador's wealth is starting to grow again. And this is going to be huge, and that's why the bonds are starting to grow. Up 72%, while Bitcoin is up 79%. So they start to correlate because they start to be backed by Bitcoin. This is what people don't understand. The more you have Bitcoin as legal tender, as the Bitcoin standard, these countries are going to do very, very well in the next 5, 10, 20 years. El Salvador has already been, I think, by 2027 to be predicted to be debt-free. This is a country that was debt-ridden, country that had very high unemployment, very low wages, very high crime, and President Bukele came in, cleaned it up, and is making the country great again. Too bad Trump didn't do that for America. All right, there's no Trump supporters on here. Just so you guys know, I don't support Trump or the other guys, so I'm against both of them. So before anyone jumps down my throat. Binance's half-yearly report shows strong growth and adoption in the crypto industry. So this is showing that there's been an increase of about 30% year-on-year basis in the market capitalization. There's also been a surge of 185% year-to-date in trading volume for Bitcoin, and network transactions are up 58%, and average transaction fees are by 143%. Meanwhile, the other thing here that is worth noting is stablecoin market has experienced a 7% decline in value in the first half of the year. The report highlighted USD has managed to increase the market share by an impressive 26% year to date. The growth signifies the continued demand for USDT as a stable store of value and preferred choice for traders and investors with stablecoin ecosystem. Now, the reason why USDT is surging in terms of its market share is because people start to realize that USDT is not governed by the US government, unlike BUSD and USDC, which had the US government and the SEC really coming after them and attacking them and even calling them securities. But they don't change in price. They're a stable coin. One coin is always going to be worth $1. But USDT, because it's outside the jurisdiction of the US arm and the US government's arm, and because it really has true backing of debt and gold, etc., and have been able to withdraw everything that people wanted, regardless of all the FUD that they had back in the last bull run. They have come out the strongest, and people start to have more and more faith in them than anybody else. All right, and last but not least for today, guys, go away, Mr. Riches, and your ads. We have Societe Generale obtains France's first crypto license. So this is a bank in France that has now become the first company in France to obtain a license for crypto services as a growing number of mainstream financial companies embrace crypto globally this year. So as of Tuesday, now they can have crypto custody, trading and sales, and also according to their website. So as a slew of crypto firms, including the world's biggest exchange, Binance has already registered with the AMF. Licensed firms, however, are subject to more numerous rules in areas including corporate governance, IT, and compliance. Crypto markets have rallied in 2023. As we guys know, Bitcoin was $31,818 at the time of writing. So that's it for me, guys. As we go into the weekend, I wish you an amazing weekend. As always, peace out and stay crypto. See you guys next week. And if you haven't registered for Future of Money, don't forget to do it now. See you later, guys. Bye.